Alrighty, I always have to make sure that the camera is rolling. So, I come out to chill in the barn for a minute because I thought it was going to be nice and toasty warm out here, but I ran out of propane. So, I just figured I'll come out here and do a little bit of cleanup while it's still somewhat warm. And as you can see, I have not done my action figure opening video yet. I still have all these lovely figures behind me. Oh, I wish I could do the opening right now, but even though, there we go, let's get some light on the subject. It gives me one side of my face. We're quite ghostly. I think I need some overhead light in order to not look totally. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe the light will. Nah, it's not going to lend us anything special. Let me turn the other light on. Oh, here we go. There. That's better. Yeah. Cool. I needed to make sure I had with me when I went to my next plan of action. Anyway, oh yeah, so we haven't opened these guys yet, and I'm not going to open them right now. I'm actually not going to talk about that. I'm going to precursor into some of my things in kit bashing. Right now, you've probably seen in the earlier video, if I turn to the camera like so, you can see down here I'm working on this diorama. As you can see, there's some action figures hanging out. Back here in the corner, we've got Iron Man and some guy and I don't know, random action figure anyway. Getting some ideas together. So I run across some little greebles like these little wheels. They're like furniture wheels. I'm going to end up altering the surface of that so it's more flat. Probably take it to the sander somehow or another. Or even, I don't know, one way or another, I'm going to get that flatter than what it is. And underneath of it, it's got this little bit of detail. So currently, I'm using these little canisters. They're for pricking your finger and checking your blood sugar with, but I get tons of these, and they're like perfect. If you put this up next to an action figure, you know, you can, it makes a perfect like waste paper basket, corner garbage can sort of type of thing. In any room, you would have to have some sort of a waste container or whatever. It's just perfect for that kind of stuff. So pill bottles and stuff work for that. But then also, it's a very big diameter to put under there. And in this case, as you can see, standing next to the Imperial Sentinel, it's, little around knee high or less. Short table, if you will. Perfect for throwing down a couple card games in a pub or whatever. Of course, we're talking about, Star Wars world, so what would little action figures do besides having a sip of spotchka? Anyway, what the hell's spotchka? Unless you know anything about Star Wars, you don't know what spotchka is. I don't know what it is either, but they drink it in Star Wars. Guess I should have said blue milk for you old fuckers. So, what was I going to do next here? Kit bashing. So, right, I'm gonna get this thing to stand still for a second. There. I don't want it to fall over. It starts out with it starts out somewhere and ends somewhere else. For instance, I already started tearing apart something. And sometimes you find something that's very close to being something already as soon as you isolate it from the rest of whatever. But this detail that you see here on this inside is a beautiful detail, although it is designed to hold on to something else that holds it inside of something else, because this is actually the front of something. It's the front of this wonderful little airplane thing I found. I don't know, it's some sort of a SpongeBob spaceman sort of, I don't know. It's a Disney, Pixar, Mattel. That tells me it's maybe a Bud Lightyear spaceship of some kind. One of the many. So, okay, anyway, what am I talking about that for? This is why I'm talking about it. That's the nose of it, okay? So, it's just overall, it looks a little, wow, it looks like a real cool looking chip there. Flyby's pretty nice. It's got that gunmetal gray shit going on, so I see some Star Wars-y kind of colors with the orange, gray, blue, and gray, and the primer gray base. Very Star Wars-y, but the canopy needs to be detailed out. I think we need to mask this off and give that some silver or something. So that definitely needs some paint apps. I want to remove that seat and see if I can't modify this to fit a pair of action figures. Back-to-back snow speeder style might be interesting, but it would be kind of pointless unless I opened up some of the back. I might lose the wings. I don't know. If I took that off of there, it would still be very Star Wars-y, but it would make more sense to have a person sitting here if they were some sort of a tail gunner in some way. Or what I'd really like to do is add, add a droid, maybe two people sitting in here, not back to back. However that works out, but there's room right here in this little H-shaped area, as if you can see there. It's a perfect spot to. You can see there's some meat in there, so I would imagine it'd be pretty easy to drop an R2 unit down in there. Huh? You know, the first thing you do with something, if you want it to be a Star Wars spaceship, find a way to drop an R2 unit in there somewhere. And now, this is just too jet fighter-esque, so I'm thinking we remove that right off the get-go. Right? I think I'm going to remove that right away, and that leaves this open. I've already taken the little collar piece out of there that normally holds that in place. And then I didn't even put the bolt back in there yet because I'm pretty sure I'll tear the whole thing apart. Because under here, you can actually take these bottom wings off of here and then trim this thing down even smaller. So, as much as I like the look of this, if I remove some of those details, it's going to take away from that jet fighter look a little bit. Once I get rid of the wings, I can put some other stuff on here to Star Wars it up a little bit more. Starting with perhaps on the bottom, I might come in here and tie into this somehow and make a flat area come off of there and bridge that outward, angled up, and then give the front of this more of what the Star Destroyer angle approach to widening this up and having maybe some other stuff going on in this side area and filling the bulk of that up, maybe making this thing a little bit more meaty in the front end. And then the front end of it will kind of look a little bit more snow speeder A-wing-ish if I were to do that. And then following that line, basically greeble that all the way up from the bottom to this edge over here, and then make it look like it was originally all covered, much like the Y-wings, with a bunch of exposed hoses and stuff. I think something like that might happen with this guy, and that allows me to put the wing and kind of aerodynamic stuff up to the front of it and pulling it away from the back of it. And then there's a possibility of taking these wings off, altering them, and literally flipping them around so that they are facing the other direction. It kind of transforms the look of it a little bit. But, you know, I want to crack this thing open and look at it some more without these wings on it, without this. And to be honest with you, if I'm going to go that far and beef the front end of it up, I'm probably going to take these thrusters off of the back and probably elongate that and give it more of a Y-wing approach. Because if you could imagine taking these thrusters and just kind of removing that, because it is all different plastic, I could very easily grab onto that somehow and boost that out a little bit with an engine extender to bring this out a little bit more. And then I would go as far as taking this and maybe extending it out to the end and giving it that little extra ring that like a Y-wing would have. So if I did something like that, you know, could you imagine that, you know, taking these guys away and then extending those so they have that more Y-wing engine look, and then having removed some of the front of it, and then bulk that out a little bit over there, giving it the dual pilot cockpit, getting rid of this top wing for sure, because I'm going to definitely put a droid here somehow. And then there's this little spring mechanism. I'm not sure what it pertains to. I don't know. Might have been some lights or something in here at one time. I don't know. I don't know. There's these guys too. I don't know. I'm missing some stuff on it, but it's already kind of got some exposed engine stuff going on. However, anyway, that's pointing me in a direction. But it is a very cool looking ship to begin with, even without all the mods. And I'm rambling quite a bit about it, but you know, Iron Man looks pretty cool sitting in there. I took my Iron Man and he's got himself a little cloth and hair tie around his waist. Excuse me. A cloth, polished cloth that I cut a hole and made a little poncho for him. So Poncho Man, he's in the bar. So this ship is really cool looking. I wanted to talk about that before I hack away at it. Of course, you know, like I said, I've already started with that, but now you take that piece away from all that, and to me, when I see the back of this, the way that is like that, I see, especially like that, I mean, I almost like it like that with that piece sticking up, but this just, to me, screams like a rear thruster of a speeder bike or something, you know what I mean? Like, you know, imagine this guy sitting on a seat and that's behind him. You could strap some little backpacks and stuff to it and then put a thruster under there and then reach out in front and make a big long like speeder bike swoop front end. You know, it's a couple of sticks and a couple of steering things out on the front end that makes it look long and ridiculous like a chopper. You've seen speeder bikes before. You can make them out of anything, but I think that's a good starting point for a speeder bike for sure. I like that kind of being on the underside, actually. That gives me more flat space right here because I could put like a banana seat here, which gives room for backpack, you know, on top of there. But I like the fact that this little detail here looks like it could be like a blaster, like a rear cannon, you know, some sort of, you know, whatever, rear flare or some kind of, even just an exhaust. But, yeah, it's a very cool looking piece. It's no longer the nose of that spacecraft. It's going to be, you know, it's going to get kit bashed. And these are just some things that I've just discovered at the resale shop recently for $1 or whatever. All right. And then my diorama's falling over. There's another interesting piece. Sometimes you find something that's already complete, but you find that if you add to it, you could make it into something else. I saw this little guy. It's supposed to be a little underwater. The guy holds on to it and pulls himself through, you know, underwater and everything. I like it so much, I'm probably going to take this little flippy thing off of there and greeble a little bit in around here. Maybe I will leave that on there. I do like the fact that yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave that alone. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this kind of approach to it where that's not gonna be the seat, but I'm just trying to kind of demonstrate where the handlebars are there. That's gonna be the front engine of a speeder bike, and then that's gonna be the front of it, and then I'm gonna come tie into here and put some sort of a seat and foot pedals and stuff down here for the figure to sit. And we'll grab, what's the other figure I picked up today? We'll get him out of the helicopter. We'll get Batman over here to demonstrate it. Normally they would hold on to this thing like so. Get your hand in the right position there, Mr. Batman. There we go. There we go. So they would be like that. All right. And then they would be, I guess, flying through the water on this little thing. That's what that would be. But I'm really seriously thinking that I want to move this into a oh, that's pretty cool. I just realized Batman had little things to make his cape stay in place, which makes a lot of sense. Here, I just picked this action figure up today, so there. The Batwing, Batman, when he flies out like that. There we go. There he is. See, he can fly now. I just realized that that's which Batman that was. I just picked him up for like $1. Anyway, so anyway, I'm thinking if I make this so that an action figure could sit. There we go. Let me get his little cape back where it's supposed to be. There you go. Pain in the butt. I still don't want to stay on there. There. No wonder you ended up in the quarter bin. Okay, Batman. We get him in sitting position and get this little apparatus out in front of him. And you can kind of use your imagination and just imagine having a banana seat and everything hooked up on that. I could just need to fill the rear end of this whole apparatus right here. It looks like the engine and everything to the front of something. It just needs a seat and some stuff behind there to become like a swoop bike. Swoop bike, definitely. All right, Batman sitting in a can of garbage over here. Well, Batman, you can sit right here for now. There, hang out, Batman. Anyway, and then I already tore apart this little four-wheeler to get that guy apart. I'm really interested in these handlebars, so that's off of there. And then, of course, this, I don't mind all that. But I think what's going to happen is I think these wings are going to get chopped off of there just so I can get the seat. I want the seat portion of that seat portion of it. And then, which might end up somehow like that, you know? Might somehow end up doing that kind of a thing. We'll see. We will see. I like the fact that that's all yellow already. I really like that. I can always mask it and pull from that, but definitely need some other colors as well. But, yeah, I think somehow or another those two things, because, see, we've got a way to pin an apparatus to it, so we could literally bolt it to a finely crafted piece of material and somehow, I don't know. Yeah, think about this one. Think about it. Think about it. Well, you see what I'm talking about. You see where I'm going. There's a will, there's a way. It almost looks like... It almost looks like going... We're going to look at that later. It's going to take an interesting piece of material to marry those two things together. But, you know, also, you know, we have... Our imagination can only go as far as how many fingers we have. And whether we can hold it together long enough to not swear at it and see what we could envision. We have this engine and then this seat area, and then we were just talking about this guy right here. What if we were to do something like that? I don't know. I can't hold it together long enough. These three pieces, though, they look like they could become speeder of some sort. And then these other pieces, I'm trying to get this little guy, the rest of him apart, because I just think that somewhere between this and these two pieces that once I get them apart, they were apart earlier. This thing's got a seam on it. I just think that I'm going to be able to do something with that somehow. I think. It just, to me, these two things are screaming and put me together and turn me into a droid that rolls on all fours. Like I said, kit bashing. It's always just like, it comes, you look at the things and you try to take it out of context. So you either take away from it, add to it, or whatever. Speaking of adding to it, this is another one of those, I need a house to go with this doorknob scenarios. Look at this guy right here. This is going to be a long video. I just picked this up. I really don't know what it is. It appears to be some kind of a Transformer meets Voltron kind of a thing. Like maybe it bolted onto these little things somehow with arms and legs and stuff, because there's like a little bit of Transformer, Mighty Morphin Power Ranger kind of face on there. So anyway, this has a little canopy on it. So Batman, you're gonna be our pilot today. You get to pretty much drive everything. So there's room for Batman and his sidekick. Here, maybe Iron Man should be driving. There we go. There we go. There we go. We got Iron Man and Batman. They really don't fit in there. It's kind of crampy. So, sorry, Iron Man. You don't get to ride with Batman. Not with this one. Anyway, we got us a little canopy of sorts. All right. So why would I even bother with that? Well, it's another one of those things that's relatively self-contained. I can go and take some of the little roller thing off of there. It doesn't need to be on there, but what I can do with that is, again, once that's all painted primer gray, I can start adding to what I think when I saw that, my first thought was, obviously it's a good canopy for something. I think there's room for like an R2 unit behind him or something like that. Maybe I could put a little back seat thing and modify that somehow. I don't know about this little face. I have to do something about that. I don't really dig that. But I don't know how I can get around it. Otherwise, disguise it to make it not look like a face. But yeah, I mean, there's room for a little Astro Droid, like especially one of these little guys could fit down inside of there. So, God, I wish I would have bought a couple more of him, but there was 3 of them. I should have bought all 3 of them. I only bought 1. So back to Batman and his little canopy. Yeah, that is definitely the canopy to, if I just had like some boosters here and there and some like landing gear coming off of this thing right here and kind of make it look like a little bit of a bug-faced booster ship, and then taking from the Jedi starfighters, maybe winging it, having a booster back here. Oh, how would I describe that? Oh, there's something round. Here's a booster. Imagine a booster on each side. It almost has that kind of speeder quality to it. I could actually throw some stabilizers off the front of it and put a little wing out here and a wing out there and make more, definitely some potential with this guy, with pretty much whatever I want to do with it. But it's got that kind of starship auxiliary kind of thing. I could hang a lot of stuff off of the back of here. So it even has that like the ATST, it even almost has that sort of feel to it, where like you could imagine this thing being on some legs and then being able to because it's just the way that this is built back here that makes me think it's like, it looks like a jawline, you know what I mean? Just makes me think it needs to be on a chicken walker of some kind. But that's a lot of engineering, though, rather than... I like the booster. I do think maybe it could be sitting on a couple of legs as landing gear. And then that would... Yeah. Because it looks like a helicopter meets a ATST waiting for its boosters and some sort of a feedy kind of landing gear thing. That's what I'm seeing. I don't know. I guess we'll see what it turns into. But... gosh, it sure is a cool looking piece, though. Definitely. I think it's a cool looking piece. We'll see what happens with that. Okay. I already have one of these in the mix of my stuff somewhere. I just found another one. I don't know where these come from, but they're brilliant because it already has handlebars and stuff on it. So the ability to take from this and turn it immediately into some form of speeder bike is pretty amazing. Like takes zero effort. I'll take a little piece of plastic off of there. So, yeah, I already have some form of speeder bike started. It maybe taped together or maybe somewhat glued together, starting with parts of both, top and bottom of one of these little buggers already. So, that's another one I found today. And let's see, let's go to robots before we go to our last spaceship. I found this little bugger. I'm going to open it up first. He's got this little empty space. Now, not everybody can fit in there, obviously. Iron Man's not going to fit in there. And he just fell on the floor. But, Ugnaughts and Jawas and stuff, and, well, this little guy doesn't fit in there either. He doesn't fit anywhere. I could see throwing a little dude in there. Now, the back of this doesn't have anything, so I will end up coming into the back of this and doing some detailing of some kind. Probably pipes and cylinders and boxes to disguise all that out, and then I'll whatever it takes, because it's kind of hollow. So this one I'm going to take from what it already is and just kind of do a little finish work on it. But I thought it was cool looking. And it just almost looks like I could modify that and put like some boosters inside of these feet, so that like when it's on its side and the Jawa like hops up into his little ship thing, he could actually because he's going to need some boosters, he could actually fly away and go into space with it. Interesting, because I do plan on building that sand crawler, and I want some stuff to just be inside of it. I like that. I think I can immediately take that into Star Wars with just a few additions to it already, and of course a paint job and stuff, and of course sticking a little Jawa of some kind inside of there. And he'll look cool sitting in the spaceport or inside or to the side of Sandcrawler or something. Oh, yeah, this thing, a little oil can thing I found. It's a little out of scale for 3 3/4, but it's, maybe closer to the 6-inch scale figures. It might make more sense. I don't have any of these out here right now to compare it to. The last thing I got today before I move, the last spaceship. Well, we were talking about 6-inch figures. I'll save that for just a second. This little couch right here I found. I think that's just about the right size for like a 6-inch figure to sit on. I'm going to find out, because if that's the case, I'll paint this up and do some detail work on it, make it a little cooler looking. And then I'll maybe do some of my Black Series with, I don't collect a lot of them, but I have some comedy things in mind with it I want to put on Twitter, photography-wise, but that's why I bought that. That was $1. I mean, can't argue with it. Now, the best thing of all today, this is the coolest. This is definitely going to get some reworking, because it is some sort of Pound Puppies, Paw Patrol, helicopter, spaceship, hovercraft, whatever. But it has this cool little canopy thing going on here. And then, it definitely needs to be modified. I'm going to have to crack this open, because I think I can get in there and open up this side over here. I think I could get in there and open that up and make the back of this accessible. Yeah, it's awful tight quarters in there, but I think it would look a lot cooler if if I cut that through and made it so you could see all the way through into the cockpit with that light coming through there, and have some things going on in there. I don't want to hide too much detail, but obviously it's another paint app. And then I don't know what's going on down here. It's got this. I could even remove that and do a bunch of stuff, but currently it's got these 3 legs that it lands on, which is pretty cool because I mean it sits pretty cool, but it's got that yellow submarine kind of look to it. And then, yeah, I mean, I just can't get over how cool I think it looks. I think it looks fantastically cool. Yeah, I really dig it overall. But, yes, it definitely needs paint apps. Like, again, Star Warsy. You want to probably do everything in primer gray. And then, okay, so, and then here's the thing. In order to Star Wars it up, I love these engines. I do love these engines. This whole thing has the kind of look of the Imperial dropships, if you know what I'm talking about. So I like that, the fact that it looks like the Imperial dropships. Let's see here. Yeah, it's got a lot of cool qualities to it, but yeah, I think if I tear this thing apart, primer gray, remove these guys right here, and I do something different with all this, maybe fill that in more somehow, that might make sense. But I really feel like what this is missing is, I think it needs like 4 gigantic engines instead of just these. I think I need to recreate what these are, bigger, and there should be 4 of them back here. Like, you know, let's do this again. You know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, much bigger engines back here. Much bigger engines. So I think when I remove this hinge area, I'll be able to make some sort of a platform to come across there and tie a few of them in. And I think I know. I think it's going to be some cannibalized curling irons that become the engines for that. Although we'd have to obtain a few more of those. But I just thought that was a cool platform to build from. You know, I like this. But like I said, we're going to have some spare wings and fins off of this and this other ship that are going to become something. This is going to stay. I love that. I just think, yeah, like I said, I think this back area right here, yeah, it looks like a face, doesn't it? Let's do it again. What it looks like there. No, it doesn't look like a face. It definitely looks like a drop ship from the back, though, doesn't it? But yeah, it looks like, to me, I could turn that into a quad jumper. I think I can turn this into a quad jumper real easily. And definitely leaving these legs. These are the cool. I love this. It looks like a shark on the bottom. And then, I don't know what I'm going to do here with this bottom section. It's kind of empty space, but, I guess I'll maybe leave that alone. I don't know. Well, I mean, it's storage. So, yeah, what we'll do is after we primer it, we'll black that all out in there. So it's just, you know, less, I don't know, junky looking. Yeah. We'll end up blacking all that out inside of there and then go in there and greeble it out and put a couple of crates in there and make it look like a storage space. And then that'll make sense. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe we will nix the transparency. We won't need it so much after that. And then obviously we're keeping the transparency in here and here. I love the bubble, the look of the bubble to that up. That's going to be a really cool looking drop ship. But yes, definitely going to be some kit bashing on this stuff. That being said, it's too early to open up my figures yet. Like I said, I think I can score 3 more Black Series before the week is out. Because got to be making a trip downstate. It's going to pop into Ollie's for a second. And yeah, I'm sure I'll find something that I can add to the collection. I got lots of Black Series. And there's more than a couple of Ollie's to pop in and out of. So we'll see. We'll see what that brings us. This is too long a video just to talk about nothing. But, well, I guess we didn't talk about nothing. You saw some cool ships and stuff I found at the resale shop. I want to see these two together, though. You see what I'm talking about? Imagine these guys kind of trippy. You know, I just talked about, you know, like adding the stuff and subtracting and painting and stuff like I was just talking about. And then putting them side by side next to a Y-wing and an X-wing and an A-wing, and, you know, and making it just look like it fits in the spaceport with everything else, you know. That is my goal. That is my goal, is to eventually be able to set that diorama up and then visit people at the conventions and talk about kit bashing and collecting and all that kind of stuff, and make a few deals and buy out a few collections from time to time for the sole purpose of doing just that. And again, anticipation. We got another 2 episodes of Six Figures featuring some 3 1/4 inch action figures that we're going to open up very, very soon. And again, I'd like to score 3 more Black Series figures so I can do a 6 figures series with the Black Series for the first time. I have not done a 6 figures in Black Series for obvious reasons. Even buying them at Ollie's, it's $7 to $10 each, sometimes $12 if it's more a recent one. I didn't take advantage of the big blowout around Christmas because I didn't have the extra to really do that with. Otherwise, I probably would have bulked up on some stuff. But I'm sure I'll find some more stuff. There's always a few odds and ends. I don't have hardly any of the Last Jedi characters or Rogue One characters in Black Series. So there's plenty of those to be had. And even some of the Mandalorian ones to be had at all the Ollie's and Ross's. We have Ollie's, we don't have Ross. So anyway, that's coming up. Yeah, you saw me ramble about Greebles and stuff. So we'll end with our famous Imperial Dignitary, right? Isn't that what you is? Well, that's what we all are. So, yeah, pretty soon he's going to be welcoming these guys to the shelf. Until then, you know, may the shelf be with you. Have fun collecting. Have fun kit bashing. Look forward to another video coming up. Completely different topic. I'm going to talk about a guitar I'm about ready to say goodbye to for a short period of time. Although my niece is probably going to fall in love with this guitar, and I might never see it again. But, no, I'm just kidding. She'll give it back. I'm sure she will. But she can't afford to go spend big bucks on a really nice guitar, so I'd much rather her have something nice to play. She needed something that was a shorter scale. She's got smaller fingers. Of course, she's a girl, so smaller hands. But she's a phenomenal musician, and she's actually attending college past her graduation for the sole purpose of being involved with the music program. And that means she needs some more professional equipment for performance purposes. And she needs a better guitar. Something that's prettier, something that sounds nice, something that plays nice, something that's a smaller scale, and all that stuff. And that can be plugged into a board for a PA and all that wonderful stuff. I just so happen to have a really nice one. And I'm going to take it downstate and hand that over to her so she can have that for a while. And then hopefully that'll encourage her to save up and buy something comparable to that. Because it's a fender that I'm going to loan her. I'm going to do a video on that very shortly. In the meantime, I'll leave this up for teaser trailer. I'm going to have to cut out here pretty soon and take care of some other errands. So I'm going to end this video now finally. And we'll see you soon.